Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Picture of Success podcast, where we speak to outstanding mid-career professionals who have made it in their mark at a young age. And in this show today, I have Abdul Karim Hamzah. Karim started his career in PETRONAS before taking a leap of faith to leave his cushy job to be a partner at an unknown Malaysian startup. That startup today is known as Aerodyne, globally ranked first in drone remote sensing. And Karim today is the Senior Vice President of the Oil and Gas Division for Aerodyne, one of the top men in this company. Karim, it's an honor to have you in this show.
Thank you, Yazid. It's a great opportunity for me as well to have a santai talk with my old friend here.
Indeed. I think we've known each other for more than 50 years, right?
Yeah, for a long time already.
Yeah, and you've grown quite outstanding, right? I believe we've even worked together in the same section and department back then, right? So I guess we know each other quite well. But for the benefit of audience today, why don't you tell a bit about yourself?
Okay, thank you, Yazid. Basically, for the audience there, basically I've known Yazid since years before. We have been together in PETRONAS. Together we were much more in the inspection field, whereby we did a lot of hands-on stuff.
That's true.
Getting into equipment and everything.
Yeah, so climbing all the vessels and so on.
All the vessels, all those monkey ladders,
confined spaces and so forth, right?
Yeah. So basically, a little bit intro this. I think I intro about myself. My name is Karim, and then currently I'm with Aerodyne. I'm taking care of this oil and gas division for the Aerodyne group. And then about myself, nothing fancy about myself. And then started my early careers dekat ni lah, Bintulu in Sarawak. So at first I thought Bintulu was in Sabah tau. So until I got the really offer letter kan, then wow, basically in Sarawak.
Man.
And masa tu I basically started my in project management field. So as a project scheduler, planning and also cost controller dekat project department masa tu. And then after that, before joining inspection, I was in procurement for about 1 year. That's where before I really meet you in dekat inspection department tu kan, before kita jumpa.
You've been a couple of places, right?
Yes. I was in project management and then procurement and handling all those contracts. So that's where I learned the tendering strategy, tender paper contracting whatsoever. And then I joined inspection after that. The main reason I joined inspection sama dengan Bro Yazid kita kat sini, because I want to be in full that knowledge of the technical in the plant. And I want to be so close with the equipment. When you talk about piping, if you don't have a feel with the equipment, so because before that people just talk about vessel, these exchanges, this everything, but during that time I don't really have the idea what this kind of equipment is, and so that's why I took opportunity when to join inspection department lah. And then from there I started develop myself into inspection, corrosion and material lah. So called the MCI lah, material corrosion inspection, the school group 15. And then from there I think I belajar banyak dekat MNG lah. So how we evolve in this asset management so called of program lah. And from there, so after that 2014 I transferred to GTS in KL. And then within MCI department lah. And then from there I got involved in a lot of RBI projects, audit in
risk-based inspection, yeah.
This inspection. Before that, I was more into only one place, M&G. And then after being with GTS, I got the opportunity to to get to know different types of plant, different nature of business, the petrochemicals, the gali the upstream, everything. So from there also I gained a lot of knowledge basically. And then I was assigned for engineering phase for certain project, everything. And so being GTS, I did enjoy my time in GTS, trying to solve problem with the OPUs, everything. And of course, there's also a lot of opportunities for me as well to be assigned at overseas project kan, which is one of the things that I pernah impikan masa dekat Sarawak dulu. I tak dapat banyak opportunity untuk for overseas assignment. Yeah. So I think long years back kan, tahun sudah banyak lah.
Oh, when was that actually? When your last job in PETRONAS? It was 2012, I think.
I think a bit later. I think about 2017, 2016 macam tu.
You left PETRONAS 2016
Yes. Around that time lah, masa tu. So it's not really an easy punya. About 5 to 6 years back lah, basically. Yeah, 5 to 6 years back.
And that was quite interesting, right? When you actually joined, when you were in KL, you joined in KL, so you got best of the world, right? You got your dream, for example, of working and traveling places. At the same time, you are immersed with technical, so forth. Seems like you have a perfect job, right? But despite that, you left your organization. What's that driving factor actually, right? I mean, like, how did you actually stumble into this?
This is a very famous question lah. I think everybody also will ask. Yeah. Okay. So first thing is basically being with PETRONAS is the one of the best moment lah, basically, because you are in a very really big organization, a matured organization. You have everything in PETRONAS. Exactly. You don't need to move out. Sebenarnya. I think in terms of system, it's very mature. The payroll system, how HR is putting everything to take, as simple as a claim, as simple as the benefit, as simple as how flexible you are in terms of the working, and also in terms of the career progression is well tabulated and put you into the system. You just go through and follow the system.
Through the system, right?
No need to reinvent the wheels or whatsoever. You just being in the organization and just move with the flow. So this is to me it is a really comfort zone for certain people lah, basically. And my decision untuk pursue my own career path, my own aspiration is basically not because I hate PETRONAS. No, it is because when I was in GTS, we involve a lot of consultation, how to solve problem for OPUs kan. So being in a big organization, and then it is a highly systemized system. And I would say sometimes it's a rigid as well. It's quite rigid. So
because of the governance and everything.
For me, I personally, I memang jenis I'm an extrovert person. I'm extremely introvert person. For me to being involved in the discussion, to lead a discussion, basically requires myself to I consume a lot of energy and untuk push myself. So this is not a nature of entrepreneur, business entrepreneur kan. But somehow bila I tengok in this case kan, so there's still more room for improvement for me to solve issues in oil and gas basically. So if you stay in the system, yes, probably you boleh solve this kind of problem, which requires a longer period of time. But for myself, I ni jenis tak sabar and blood boiling punya kind of person. If I want to save, if I to solve something, I rasa macam I kena be in a different punya setup.
Right.
And from there, I boleh push further and faster and more efficient lah for me. So that's why I fikir banyak kali juga basically kan.
Right.
So it is not easy. It is not something yang macam gambling kind of decision lah. So I think ambil masa about 2-3 years juga basically.
Right.
Before I buat that decision lah. And of course, to do that is not easy. One of the thing yang I paling takut skeptical is because you start your career in PETRONAS.
Right.
Client punya mindset kan.
Right.
So suddenly you nak become a businessman kan. So this basically is totally 360 degree change of mindset.
People treat you differently between if you are a client and you are a contractor. Right?
Betul, right. Kan, I think one of the big difference lah yang I observe, people from yang pernah duduk dalam a mature organization, big organization macam PETRONAS ni, bila you want to start something new, you akan ada banyak handicap, a lot of handicap yang you basically before this you enjoy all the perks and benefit, and now you have to stand on your own. Yeah, you need to create balik, you need to recreate the environment yang you pernah involved, pernah duduk dalam PETRONAS kan. So it's kind of you keluar from comfort zone and then you nak go to somewhere else, but you still you punya at least you want to recreate this kind of good environment yang you pernah been into before kan. So this is the things yang bila I venture into business. So this is the kind of environment that we are trying to create. For my staff yang sekarang, so that dia rasa macam all those perks and benefit yang kita pernah enjoy dulu. So I nak basically I was in the same position before lah kan. So that's why lah I basically it's not that straightforward juga. After I left PETRONAS, I tried few things juga. Of course, taking care of the main core business that I want to pursue is in this drone punya industry lah. Kan? So it is not easy. Masa tu basically bila you nak pursue on your own, one thing is you don't have a power to compete with the competitors lah in the market kan. So I was lucky enough during that time that masa kita I met with Mr. Kamarul lah, Group CEO of Aerodyne. So kita discuss masa tu apa opportunity yang I think benda yang bila I spoke to him, bila I discuss dengan dia, what we can do for oil and gas industry. So after that, after few rounds of trials, I think few things yang I kena demonstrate to Mr. Kamarul in terms of how this oil and gas business is, how to penetrate into this business, and we started with a few small jobs lah masa tu kan. So after few rounds, and then we nampak memang ada synergy from there. So that's where kita started this Aerodyne Oil and Gas yang Berhad lah, basically a subsidiary of Aerodyne Group. Yes, focusing more on oil and gas business lah. So this is all where all started lah. And during that time tak ada orang kenal pun Aerodyne ni actually dalam
exactly
dalam PETRONAS ni kan.
Yeah, you actually grew the business juga lah.
Yeah, the brand basically was established overseas because for the last 5 years the acceptance of drone dekat Malaysia ni belum lagi. So
I see you went venture outside of Malaysia first before coming to Malaysia because Malaysia punya ecosystem tak ready lagi. It's not ready yet for this, right?
Yes. So this is talking about the common ecosystem. So that's why Aerodyne Group started with TMB dulu, with Celcom dulu for the telco towers, but not yet for oil and gas. So it was a really hard time to create awareness and penetrate the brand into oil and gas. So only recently lah, basically after it took us about 3 years plus to get into world first rank for drone-based solution company lah. So from there barulah people started to look at siapa Aerodyne ni. And company company mana US ke kan, masalah ke, but not, it is basically a Malaysian
Malaysian
company lah.
company.
So,
I like that. I mean, you mentioned two things just now, right? You saw a problem that's not being solved. You saw an and this is a big opportunity, and you were able to bring this potential problem and opportunity together, and actually make a business out of that, right?
yes,
How
yes.
can you talk a bit how that process happened, right? How did you, because ability to find a problem, opportunity in a problem and finding a way to solve that is actually the key over here. How did you actually went through that, right?
Okay, I think my so-called when I was in PETRONAS, I involved a lot in inspection work. So
Right.
more into asset integrity management. So talking about asset integrity management, this is basically a program was created by default. It's an inspection program to what you call it, to cover as much as possible in terms of every angle or aspect to make sure all those piping and equipment works in good condition. But it's not a single method basically can satisfy all those requirements. You need multiple methods for to complement one. To complete the program. But all this while, basically, there are still one aspect of asset integrity program that still cannot be tackled. For example, for the elevated and also hard to access areas. So this is have been bothering the industry for years. Even from the authorities also, we were having hard time to justify why you don't inspect this portion, why you don't inspect this portion again. So those kind of limitation which especially with humans can. So there are certain places that human cannot reach. So this keep me thinking, how can we solve this problem lah, kan?
Right.
So when you talk about we want to cover 100% of aspect of asset integrity, so these are basically one of the things that I think we can fill the gap in this problem basically. So this is a gap that I think we have opportunity, we have technology to do this. But if I'm still being inside PETRONAS, I don't know when will this can be materialized. So this is one of the things that put me in mind that this is the thing and area that I believe this can be something will bring benefit for both PETRONAS and also Aerodyne basically. So this is where the business case come out. So from there it evolved into just using drone. So now it evolved from using drone only, and then we adapt into artificial intelligence, the AI, the system, everything. So it is something it keep on evolve in terms of solution how we are offering. And that my idea started from there lah, basically. And then we macam-macam lah. After that, there are a lot of solutions that come out in terms of not just for visual. We put sensors, we put more features, gas leak detection.
Right.
Yes, AI, everything. So I think we evolve ourselves so that when we do something, we're not just doing thing at the same level. So we keep on improving the benchmark. We keep on putting the pace and the higher benchmark every time we perform the job. So that's where I believe the things that we need to keep us competitive in the market. Otherwise, you are being left behind. Because people will always replicate and try to
innovate.
And people will try to innovate. But if you don't keep yourself ahead, then you'll be left behind.
So I guess the story here is when you were in PETRONAS, you were trying to find a solution in the market, but there's no solution that fits to the needs. And you see this as a gap, and you talk around the industry, and soon enough you see someone who can actually do this, and you actually went to the other side. That's what basically happened.
Yes.
Alright.
This is sounds really simple, but especially I also feel very lucky lah to have a good partner lah. So when you talk about venturing into business nature, being into an entrepreneurship world, I think the most important part is your business partner, and because you can go very fast, quite fast in the early phase if you're being only 1 or 2%. But as you want to grow along, you want to go further, you need to have a good team. So this is I think one of the things that I also belajar lah basically. And at the early phase, senang because you are in the really in the really skeletal organization, masih lagi baru. You nak buat anything senang, you just bulldoze and buat, and then you have the energy and pace to to move around kan. But if you as you grow bigger, basically bila you nak reach a certain scale, certain aspect, you kena ada a big team pula kan. So this is one of the challenges that I also having right now kan. So and then susah juga lah, especially you nak break the mindset of the acceptance of the industry lah kan.
Right. It's quite interesting, right? Normally, coming from to start a business, it was not it's not normally easy, but for you it wasn't that difficult when you said the first kind of things, right? So the challenges is not on the first year also, right? It's to just establish. The challenges is the mid part, right? The just to scale up, right? Can you actually tell more a bit about that? That challenges that you face as you were as you were growing your company in a sense, right?
Okay, so I would say that the challenges there are a few aspects. I think the first would be in terms of how I deal with the acceptance of the industry, and
right,
because before this people are paranoid, especially oil and gas, SHE, safety. Bila you nak bawa drone fly dalam plant, oh no, this is very bahaya, nanti crash everything. So the paranoia of using a drone inside a oil and gas plant is quite extreme, and with a lot of resistance. And then the fear of explosion, because when you fly drone and then there's a spark, and then this is a thing that I think took quite a hard time for me also to give some good awareness lah and acceptance basically. This is the mindset kan. But after we did some trial and we demonstrate to them, basically okay, it's quite safe kan. After we impose all those safety measures lah kan. And then
you must have gone through countless of risk assessment.
The same question all over not EX, how come kalau dia meletup ke everything. So those kind of question is even until today, and then but because we have a good track record, we really show them basically, and especially educate them lah basically. This is not as dangerous as you are thinking, and so and then other thing is the mentality of thinking about this drone inspection. Using drone is very easy, no need to engage contractor or give us support. We can do this very cheap way, and it's very easy.
Buy our own drone and do ourselves lah.
And do ourselves, guys. So this is also the challenges of mentality that also I need to deal with as well lah kan. So when people talk about senang aja drone, you can beli from any toy shop, China shop kan, you just fly and take the video and okay. So those kind of mentality yang basically yang I think I don't care. So for those people out there, yes, it sounds easy, and if you are talking about for kenduri kahwin, for hobby punya purpose kan, but you fly drone, if you want to fly drone to perform a specific task, performing specific inspection, and you require some pada
know-how.
training, a correct, the right skill set to perform the assessment, a certified personnel, and must be a really competent pilot to maneuver and all the drone inside the oil and gas facilities. And this drone is basically a fragile, very fragile. And then even in terms of requirement, you need to have at least industrial grade type of drone to perform this kind of task. And so it's not kenduri grade kind of drone you can perform anywhere very easily. So it's not easy. But if you want to perform with the oil and gas punya nature tu, that part of governance, the risk assessment, everything, that part is not easy. And then one of the other thing is basically the regulation and authorities. You cannot
DCA and so forth, everything.
CEM lah now kan, dulu DCA, now they call CEM,
yeah.
Civil Aviation of Authority in Malaysia. CEM and also JUPEM, Jabatan Ukur dan Pemetaan. So those two main authorities yang you kena deal with for commercial purpose. I think if not for commercial purpose pun, you still kena apply this permit, drone flying permit. And then it took a lot of time for the application and process, and it's not just as simple as you fly drone and do your stuff, you think, kan? So those kind of challenges lah, and if you're talking about doing the work, kan? And
is there a secret recipe for people who wants to introduce new technology or new things in oil and gas from your point of view? From one oil man to another?
Okay. I think it's an open secret lah, kan. First thing, to bring new technology in the industry, you need to demonstrate yourself first, build your credibility lah, and through demonstrations and also improvement. And a lot of company basically they are shocked sendiri lah. Even I myself pun awal I rasa macam dah bagus ni kan, I punya solution. But once you introduce, once you buat POC, you buat some trial, basically there are still more feedback from the end user side that you need to help them, and your solution must be practical enough lah to be able to fly inside this industry. Because sometimes people bring new technology, but after you introduce it, give you more hassles and headache, and just to live with that technology, and then this is basically something I think a lot of happens lah. For myself, basically, because I have advantage of being in the industry, I had the hands-on experience and everything. So few things we can really try to incorporate and put ourselves in the PETRONAS punya shoe lah. So basically kita boleh try to customize according to the end users punya requirement lah.
You know the people, you know the industry, you know what can and can't be done and so forth. So it's just figuring it out lah. So
yes.
I guess that's
betul. Tapi I'm not try to put even though I have advantage of this knowledge, but somehow we need to respect other parties' opinion as well lah. Try not to be shocked sendiri. Itulah. Because sometimes kita rasa kita dah bagus kan, tapi actually ada banyak lagi room of improvement yang kita boleh buat lah. Yeah, especially when dealing with new technology kan. So that's the thing lah kan.
So that's quite interesting actually, right? See, a lot of startups, they burn a lot of capital at the start and so forth, everything, and they it's a conception that startups usually need to get results fast, right? But by the way you were saying, right, to just penetrate in the oil and gas industry takes such a long time. Must have been man-hour intensive and capital intensive to actually get to penetrate in before you actually make your first dollar, right? So how do you actually manage that in that sense, right? Because that is not you are a startup playing a non-startup game in that sense, right?
Okay. The strategy is basically like myself. I give I punya example lah. Because I was sorry, I was in inspection punya fraternity. So before we really start into a full scale of solution, you kena at least you need to have some financial lah to fund that. You need to sustain your cash flow. And the thing is, you always sorry.
Yeah, right.
Sangat tak nak cakap kan, batuk kan. So basically what I did was basically start dengan low hanging fruits dulu lah kan. Low hanging fruits, things yang you boleh quickly monetize and capitalize. For example, I start dengan just a mere simple inspection, drone based inspection. So before we go into full AI, before we are having a good system, everything. So just a simple low hanging fruit. Kita offer buat apa ni, just drone based inspection. Kita buat inspection on the pipe, on equipment, on piping, everything. This is things yang for startup you need to have this cash flow dulu lah kan. So from there kita start from this data, from this low hanging fruits punya works, you have all those inspection data, everything. And this data basically you started to introduce as a data, as a real data for your system yang you tengah develop lah. And then from there you dah as you go along, you dah dapat banyak data, you dah dapat banyak inspection, and slowly you dah gradually you dah ada a good data for your system, and then from there you dah start boleh train and put some you can put some mechanized action into this data, put some AI, some algorithm, so that basically it assists the process. So and then while we are doing that, we also try to put some areas of improvement dari segi ada work process lah kan. For example, things yang boleh memudahkan klien all this while. Before this, banyak reporting guna hard copy kan. So apa yang I introduce basically, all those reporting we use the web-based kind of reporting, so that klien boleh review online from anywhere. So you don't need to deal with a bundle of reports on your desk, and macam kita dulu lah kan. Macam-macam report dah kena review atas semua kan.
Yeah.
And then sekarang semua review of the findings, everything is being done through kita punya system lah, online portal, anywhere as long as you have internet connection kan. And then of course being kita punya new norm and work from home, so it really give a good advantage for us lah. And so we a minimal personal yang perlu buat dekat site, and then client just review dekat rumah je whatever inspection findings. So started with a low hanging fruit. We slowly gain our revenue, and then from there kita diversify into a solution yang what you call the higher margin kan. For example, the software-based solution. This is quite a higher compared to a physical business. So this is where
but higher development cost as well, right?
The higher margin. Yes, initially it's a higher development cost, but
all the codings and
but compared to the real physical, when you involve the real inspection, you need to mobilize person to site.
I see. So this is easier to scale up.
Yeah. So this is where we try to balance apa yang task bisa with a high margin, and apa task yang you need to do even though you tak ada untung, tapi you need to create a milestone and also track record. So it's all you need to have a proper planning for this lah. Yeah. And then of course on top of that, you kena fikir something yang boleh keep you punya company ahead of competitors. And to differentiate yourself between you and also other company, right? So that's why I think if you look about myself for the last 5 years, maybe just a few drone service company, but how we distinguish ourselves from the rest, basically how we add on the features and solution that we are offering. So I would say now, kalau you nak mention who is the competitors of Aerodyne, basically our competitor is not a drone company. Our competitor is a system solution company, right? So because drone is just now is about 10, probably almost 30% of our solution. The rest is basically system.
System-based companies, like of C3 AI and so forth lah.
Yeah. Yes, it's a AI company. Macam tu lah.
AI
The system
company.
company. Yes. So this is actually now our competitor. But if you're looking at the scale, we are still new. We are still not cannot match the level of the other system company that are offering that kind of solution. But if you look at the drone aspect, we already far ahead already. And
Mm.
so that's why we how we distinguish ourselves between our competitors. This is where we think we are creating value for the client, basically. And we are basically the airliner lah. We are not the Airbus or Boeing. We're not trying to recreate something, but we are using the products and put a value added on it. Okay. So yeah, we like Emirates and Malaysia Airline kind of
Right.
situation lah. Yes.
It's interesting that your business model are changing, and the way you see drones from the way you start is different. And where is this drone industry business growth is going, right? I mean, like, what's the exciting future in this industry in that sense?
Hello. I would say that basically, this is the area that it will the game of drone is not going to be something that involve a lot of pilot anymore. This is going to be a self autonomous drone, and then it will push the limits and requirement of human physical abilities, so that it will enable you to go further and beyond SS. I think the areas that if you're using normal human intervention that you will not reach. So for example, it will reach the speed of, for example, I would say in terms of how you are dealing with logistic kind of services, and in terms of you're pushing the boundary. If apa ni, in terms of the how drone deals, basically it will no longer require a pilot. It will be fully autonomous. We call it this swarm intelligence. So they know what to do, and then between drone A and drone B, they know how to communicate themselves. They know how to respond within certain parameters, and then they can pass through within this closed loop of swarm group of drone with a certain task. And this is already proven somewhere. And then I think in terms of implementation, probably kita tak nampak lagi for the time being. But it will be more on, I think the most practical now is on the, for example, the patrolling and surveillance. And so you have a lot of borders to monitor. And this drone A, when they perform a task, they have some findings, and they just keep on updating feedback to another drones. And they also can be a life-sustaining drone. They can self-charge. They can, after certain time, they will go back to their own nested system, and then another drone will also continue their task. So the whole system of swarm basically is performing and communicating with each other to perform a specific task. So this I would see that if you not pursue career as a drone pilot, better don't.
but Karim, I think technology is not the limitation, right? I believe we put our minds there. The technology is there, but I guess the barrier for this, just like autonomous vehicles or autonomous driver cars, is regulation, I would say, right? Would you agree on this one?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, because
acceptance of public.
Some regulation cannot keep up with the technology. This is as simple as that lah, kan. We should talk about drone. Belum lagi about flying cars. Belum lagi about handling the logistics of using drones. Because the authorities, they need to put some action to regulate this. Because if, for example, I'm on the good side where I'm doing business, doing a good things, and we don't do any hanky-panky. But if you talk about other opportunity on the dark side, people can smuggle drugs, people can use all sort of being creative on all those criminals punya, syndicates and activities.
So regulation is important.
Yes, regulation. That's why this is where the regulation is really, really important to control this kind of situation. Yeah. Yes, and then this is new technology. So sometimes people also susah nak accept lah. Yeah. But there's a big potential in that. So which is, I believe, not all drones, even though you can still call it a science fiction, kan? But some of it already happening and can be materialized, kan? Kalau if you see a lot of from the movies macam Transformers, and even drone yang boleh tembak, with the military drone, kan? Even though for the time being, physically, scientifically is still weird, kan? I think doesn't make sense. But on certain things, for example, the delivery, the AI, the tracking, everything, kan? He said that once you have this, I think now I can highlight the real limitation of drone is basically dia punya battery, dia punya flying hours. Itu basically
just like cars.
Yes, betul. Itu yang basically membezakan between real life and also science fiction. Once if somebody can solve the problem of this drone battery, probably you can achieve something more. This is
if the batteries are being solved, we might even have electric planes going around.
Yeah.
But technology is there, but as you mentioned earlier, regulations are a challenge. If you break that, I do believe that your company is enrolled to a unicorn status. And speaking of that, there are news of Aerodyne wanting to do IPO. Maybe you wanna comment a bit on this, like one of this in US or something like that, I heard.
Basically, we are already started the paperwork to go into IPO, but it's not in the future. Probably in 2 or 3 years time. But the things already started this year lah, with all those requirements. But and of course, it's not as smooth as it is. We have been hit by COVID and everything, so a few things basically quite being a hiccup for us. But now we are starting to pick up in terms of our target and the revenue, and we are hoping that basically we can still achieve it within our time frame. The planning to go for IPO, we'll see how and where. And
international, I assume.
Yes, I supposed to be, yes.
Yes. Because I think Aerodyne has a big presence internationally.
See how lah, plan lah. Hopefully, if probably US, I don't know. Just a secret for the time being.
We are seeing a millionaire or billionaire in the making over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, you've gone a long way from a PETRONAS staff, from a cushy job to a way to a start of an uncertain future, growing a business, and now talking about IPO. I mean, that is a hell of a life in terms of career that you've gone through, right? Maybe we're towards the end of this show, right? Maybe you wanna give a bit of summary or a bit of like wisdom, like if you were to put words on a billboard, just tell what you've learned, what would that be?
If I were to put things on the billboard, tak cukup tu satu billboard.
Man of many wisdom, so many wisdoms.
Anyway, but I do believe in one thing, basically, how all this while, I do believe that a Malaysian company can be we call this solution provider, a technology provider, because all this while we are really looking up towards US company, European company, all those overseas company. In terms of the technology consumer, we are the technology consumer. We are not the technology provider. So my aspiration is basically to have a company, a Malaysian company that can be a technology provider, so that the other global, the other people, not just Malaysian, all over the world, are using our technology. They are being our consumer. So this is where I do believe someday we we will be able to do it because of the technology, and because all this while we have commodity, sawit, everything, but not on the technology part. So this is
Right.
where
It's the
my
next
interest
curve.
and my belief, yes, basically. And so that I think people, Malaysian can be proud of the Malaysian products lah, and so
Mm.
this is I punya belief lah.
Right. And Aerodyne is a Malaysian champion over here, especially in the drone industry, first in the world. So for those of the audience who've never heard Aerodyne and they want to know more about Aerodyne, where do they visit to, or who do they talk to, or if I believe Aerodyne goes beyond oil and gas. There's other areas, right? Power, agriculture, and so forth. How do they get in touch and contact and engage this the national champion over here in drone?
Yeah, you can go to our website, aerodyne.co, or aerodyne.group basically, and then you can search all over in the Google. And if you want to know more, you can come to Aerodyne campus in Cyberjaya to experience Aerodyne, and we can show you and do some demonstration and demonstrate you in terms of what the technology works, everything. So feel free to come into our Aerodyne campus in Cyberjaya. Yes.
Awesome. You've got a campus over here. How big is this, right? And how many people are there?
Okay, talking about numbers, now we are basically close to 900 staff.
This
globally.
is a big startup. This is not a virtual.
We are
900
running
people.
out. We are running out of spaces.
Running out space.
In Cyberjaya, and we're looking for a new workplace to accommodate our staff and our training center as well. Yeah, so feel free to come, and hopefully also in PETRONAS we'll be involved with part of your training syllabus with InStep, inshallah soon.
Very good. Good job there.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. An open invitation for those who are interested to know more about Aerodyne, not just to procure services, but also to experience or even work in Aerodyne, because Aerodyne is actually a growing company as well, right? So I do hope you guys are excited and interested with this. Karim, thank you very much for your time, for spending an evening with me.
Thank you, Yazid. This is also a good opportunity for me to share, and especially for all those my PETRONAS friends over there who wonders why Karim suddenly doing something else out of the norm. So
right.
This is basically something that I also would like to thank you Bro Yazid, for this opportunity for me.
No worries. I do believe my audience have picked a thing or two from you, or even we may have inspired a couple of people to just start their own business, seeing the opportunities that is abundant in being solved in big organizations, right? Thank you very much for your time, Karim, and all my audiences. If you like this content and if you like to see more of like this content, please click on the subscribe button below, and don't forget to share this video to all your friends. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.